Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ghostland Yard. My name is Toronite, and this is such a wonderful, wonderful game. I can't wait to show it off to everyone. But of course, I'm not the only one here that is going to be here for this adventure. I have with me, obviously, not just Talia, our wonderful host, has been killing it so far. We also have the wonderful TheTaraStark as my commentator.
Hey gang, so glad to be here for this absolutely fabulous game that I stumbled upon almost by accident and have since watched the community grow and grow and grow. I've seen this game run for a couple of different marathons now, and it's amazing to see the impact that this game has had on its community, the impact that this community has had on a number of different charities, and the way that things just keep snowballing in such a positive way for so many different organizations. If you want to get some donations in for Little Warriors, now is your time.
Absolutely. But before we get into this run, which we're doing 80%, we did have a bid war, which is choose pose color. And Talia, drum roll, please. What is the color? Perfect. And I'm gonna say this, it's not an accident. Well, it was kind of an accident. I'm wearing blue right now, but very happy accident. Let me make sure, let me confirm that I have blue. Yep, there we go. That is blue, that is pose. So 80%. The way this game was made, it was done with speed running in mind, because there's a lot of really cool stuff for speedrunners that make this game like very cool to run casually and speedrunning wise, including a speedrun mode where basically we don't have to deal with cutscenes or anything of the sorts. You can customize it however you want. So the settings that we want to make sure that are good are, we want to do the whole game, we want to include bosses, but we want to deselect races because they are bonus levels that we don't that are not part of the 80% run. However, we are going to get run, and run doesn't start until first movement. So I'm gonna give it a quick countdown, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Chat, welcome to Ghostland Yard.
And we are just about to tie a world record in this first level, 1-1, and boom. It's just as simple as that. We tied world record. it just press right, hold right, and you win. But as you're already kind of starting to see, the game is pretty simple. You run, you jump off walls. That's kind of basically it. However, the beauty of this game comes with the progression of difficulty and addition of gimmicks and different stuff that makes the game really shine with the level design and everything. There's 120 levels in this game, and 6 bosses. So you might be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, hold on. You mean to tell me you're gonna beat this game 120 levels in 35, hopefully less than 35 minutes. Well, so far we are just kind of flying through things left and right, and right there you kind of just saw an example of a coyote jump, which is basically when you kind of run off a little ledge or something like that. You basically have just the tiniest window to get in a jump going, and that gives you just a tiny bit more distance and lets you clear a few more hurdles that you normally wouldn't have if you didn't actually go through that coyote jump. But that's enough. That's not enough out of me. I'll let Tara kind of keep explaining a lot of the subtle mechanics and subtle, like, really good things that you'll get to see throughout the entire run.
Absolutely. So coyote jumping is a great example of a game mechanic that comes across many different games, but it comes in a lot of handy here in Ghostland Yard, where jumping really is the name of the game. There is jump modulation. You can take small jumps, you can take large jumps, and learning how to modulate your jump to be just the right height, to get just the right length, to kind of thread the needle through different areas, especially right here with some of those bullets that will be coming at you there. You really have to learn timing very well. You've been seeing Toro doing a lot of wall jumps. If you're looking real closely, you'll also notice that wall jumps go just a little bit higher than jumps from the ground, and that is going to be another key mechanic we're going to see come into play. There's one more bit of jumping mechanic that I'll come back to later. for right now, we have entered our first boss. Now, this game is pretty straightforward. It's cycle-based. When you reset a level, you get the same cycle. It is very predictable. Our bosses are not always quite so predictable. There's a little bit of manipulation you can do. However, it is extremely subtle and sometimes can feel a lot like RNG. You'll notice here we have been through this whole game avoiding anything that is pink, because if it is pink, it will kill you in our bosses. You touch green thing to kill pink thing. Welcome to World 2. We touch the green thing, we kill the pink thing, and we are moving on. Our first world introduced us to the pink environmental hazards. Pools of goop, rocks of goop, bullets of goop. That was a great example of needle threading right there with jump modulation, and the collection of a soul, which I'll come back to in a moment. World 2 introduces moving obstacles. That is our roses on chains and our roses on strings. So you'll see some of these rock roses are moving around in circles around our chain here. Sometimes at different speeds. You'll see here there's a couple different speeds going, but they are, again, all cycle-based. Now, we talked about cycles very briefly earlier. Cycles are so vital to this game. They are incredibly predictable. They reset the same time that you die or that you reset, as Toro demonstrated a moment ago. And so when you start to get a little bit of knowledge gained, a little bit of muscle memory in this game, you'll start to realize that some of the best cycles are the ones where you full-on send it through the level. You'll start to see, if you explore this game, that some of the best times just go full throttle from front to finish. And that is the way we squeeze 120 levels plus 6 bosses into a time under 30 minutes in many cases. So, the other really cool thing about this game is its environments. Our first world was a little foreboding, but very calm. This is where the excitement starts to ratchet up. World 2, the castle, proves to us that yes, bagpipes can indeed be very, very cool. To get this kind of ambiance in the castle, to see our chandeliers moving along with our character, right? Poe, by the way, works for a detective agency called Ghostland Yard. Ghostland Yard is a place we will never actually see. Poe is on a journey to rescue his compatriots who have been kidnapped from Ghostland Yard. And so he travels through these 6 worlds in order to rescue those members of his team. That were investigating pink objects around the globe. You get hints of a story with this, right? But honestly, just to see this environment come together is just absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. Pierre was talking about this in the interview right before this run. But to have an environment, to have an aesthetic that is so different from so many 2D platformers, it sounds silly, but the packaging can make a big difference in bringing people into a game, giving them a world that is charming. A lot of people will compare this game to Super Meat Boy, but if you look at the two, outside of gameplay, they don't seem to have a whole lot in common, right? So it really is a big deal to have a variety in aesthetics, a variety in gameplay. And we're just so blessed to have Ghostland Yard in the world in which we live. Boss 2 in the castle, absolutely fabulous example of packaging. The tension, the heights at which we will jump, the environmental design, the music. I'm gonna let you soak this in for just a little bit, gang. What a satisfying conclusion. Get a vantage point up here. Just kidding. Welcome to the Hollywood Tower of Terror. The tricky thing about these roses as Toro's falling down, this is a lot harder than it looks because these roses started spinning at the beginning of the level. With 40 seconds, approximately, between the beginning of the level and the elevator, those cycles can be a little bit hard to predict, but Toro has done an excellent job getting through our tower, getting to the end of this boss, and moving on to World 3, the Temple, which introduces 2 new mechanics. One is moving platforms, and 2 that we'll see in a little bit is wind. These moving platforms can help you, they can hinder you, but a lot of the time what you'll notice is our runners just try to get the heck out of the way and try to move faster than these platforms wherever possible. Now, the second aspect to this, the wind, we're going to come to in a second, but I want to let y'all know, chat, this is probably one of the most dastardly mechanics that stymies a lot of runners in this game, is the winds, the updrafts. They are extremely physics-based. which makes things really, really difficult to predict in a game that is otherwise mostly cycle-based. Here are our wins. Now, they can push you up like a simple updraft. They can also push you left, right. They can push you down, and here, they can help you stick to the ceiling, depend on where they are placed. They can function as a sort of anti-gravity feature. It's just a really, really creative use of a very basic mechanic. Right? You introduce one thing to the engine and suddenly you can use it in all sorts of new creative ways, and it's really, really fun to see what people do to try to fight with these wins, to try to go with these wins, to see how they're used as the game goes on. Now, these wins also make things a little bit difficult when we get to our third boss. Get ready for that. That is going to be a heck of a journey. Before we get to that point, does our host have anything to share with us?
Oh boy, yes I do. So first of all, I've got $20 from Pierre, who says it's from the Ghostland Yard dev team.
Aww, thank you.
Which is fantastic. Thank you so much. And I've also got $5 from Deg, or DEG, which just says $100! Exclamation point. Which I want to hype that up. We've not even crossed. We have blown past the $100. And I want to remind you guys that if you donate, toss your donates towards the Klonoa Granny % run so that we can moo Granny. Can Granny get mooed? We need that.
It's one of the most beautiful things about marathons like these is having those little bits of bonus content, right? And that is what these runners do. They try to provide fabulous showcases like what we're going to be doing in a little bit with Apocalypse World 1 at the end of this run, right? You've done it for us. Let's see you do it for Klonoa, right? Let's see as much content as we possibly can. Keep those donations coming in, and don't forget to add an incentive to those donations. Thank you so much to everybody who has been chipping in, supporting Prevent-A-Thon and supporting Little Warriors.
One thing you'll start to notice is a lot of these levels, they're starting to get really, really big. But one thing that you're kind of now noticing is that we're using a lot more shortcuts and using a lot of the mechanics that are introduced in these worlds to our advantage to just kind of blow past through like half of these levels. Like a lot of these shortcuts that we're taking like can save us like 3, 4, 5 seconds, which may not seem like a whole lot, but over the course of 120 levels, that really starts to add up significantly.
Yes, and of course, time loss can add up a lot, especially in bosses like this one. Boss 3 is often cited by runners as more difficult than the final boss, Boss 6. Although they do share a lot of mechanics, you'll notice two big ones. One are these little bouncing balls that are suddenly emanating, where you see the tiny lasers go around the screen. When they get to their smallest point, a pink ball is ejected. The second are these giant lasers that we're seeing across the screen that are sometimes chasing our protagonist here. Poe, you got this, buddy. And of course, now we have these little towers of wind. We can't simply climb along the ceiling. We have our third component, our chaser dog. For those of you who played Celeste, as I see in the chat, Battlein is a great example. We didn't see a whole lot of that chaser dog because Toro absolutely demolished Boss 3 with no deaths. That is absolutely huge because that will kill a run. One of the nice things about this game, this love letter to speedrunning, are the 2 timers in the top left-hand corner. They are in-game timers. You don't have to worry about loads hurting you in these speed runs because that timer will stop for loads. There is also an individual level timer right underneath that little tiny number. So when you do die, you can cringe at exactly how much time you have just lost, right? But it's also a really good evaluation to see, okay, hey, is this worth resetting for right now? Am I going to save time here? Am I going to lose time? And that can be sometimes a little bit difficult to perceive once you start to familiarize yourself with the run. It starts to become second nature, but you do got to be careful because at the end of the day, you know, you're losing 10 seconds. That sounds huge, but you know, you might have lost 10 seconds in another level down the road. Now, we are seeing 2 new mechanics here with this World 4. Besides the enormous scale of these levels Toro was hinting to earlier, but that really come to fruition here. There are 2 new mechanics. One are these slingshots. So these also really stymie runners, especially when trying to run individual levels. The timing that you have to have in order to get these things to throw you in exactly the direction that you want can be really, really tricky. There are often wide, friendly paths to let you through, but there are also often very rewarding narrow paths through some of these levels that take a lot more precision and can add up to a lot more risk. We've seen Toro conquer a few of those more narrow ways here.
Ooh.
That's okay.
No, I was just showing off what happens, when you take a death in these levels, because I've rarely taken a death in this run, so I just wanted to show that off. Nothing more.
Yeah, no, and then we will be able to see our death counter at the very end of the run, which can also be a really helpful evaluation tool here. And just like that, we're halfway through World 4 already. So one element is the slingshots. The other are these green sticky walls. You may notice that Toro is taking a little more time to get off those walls. Poe has not slid up or down the walls where you see any green goop. Those can actually throw people off a lot if they've not encountered them before, and even if you have, it sometimes takes a while to get yourself familiar. There are situations in which, or rather I should say, the only way to get off of those walls is to jump, and there are some situations where you land yourself in the goop, and the only place a jump will get you is directly into a pink rock. So, do yourselves a favor, be very, very careful with these walls. We'll see another example of a level, I want to say it's 419, where those pink walls can be both your savior and the end of you. It's this one right here, actually. We're seeing we can take a very, very scary path through some of those bullets that shoot through. The wall can be a nice place to stop. Ooh, very nicely done. That skipped about a third of the level right there. So you'll notice these slingshots give us enough momentum to fight through the wind. The wind is often used as a force field in World 4 and beyond. And of course, what that winds up doing is it creates yet another reinvention of something that seemed really simple at first into something that's really, really a neat toolbox in the engine. To use that as a force field and to only get through with slingshots, it means you really have to prove yourself and your skill with these slingshots in order to progress in this game. We're seeing this again one more big time here. That's another tricky area where a lot of people can get stuck in that pocket up near the top middle of the level there. Congratulations, Toro, on that. One of the coolest looking needle threads here.
Yeah, not gonna. Yeah, did not make
That's
it.
okay.
That's fine. We will try again. Yeah, this is gonna be a really, really cool needle thread. But after that, our next boss is actually gonna give us a slight reprieve. So we have enough time for Talia to give us like a quick word.
I heard my name. Is it time? So, I have a $5 donation from Blue Ghost. No comment. Thank you very much. And I also have a $10 donation from Zophioma. Also no comment. Thank you so much. And both of those went towards the granny percent in Klonoa. We're at $25. That's 25% of the way there, chat. I did the math. You can count me on that. And that's going to close. Oh, goodness.
There is excitement in this world yet.
That's going to close about 15 minutes into the Klonoa run. So if you, like that cat, really need to see Granny get mooed, please get your donations in. ! Donate in chat. And it all goes to a great cause anyway, to little warriors.
Absolutely, and if you're kind of seeing this boss, a lot of it is just waiting. This boss basically, he just moves and you just wait till he hits the wall, and to do damage, you just basically need to go and hit the, have him hit the slingshot, which first two phases, pretty simple. It's this third one that can be really annoying. Ooh, actually, that... Okay, no, we're good. We're safe. We're good. We're good.
Congratulations and welcome to World 5. Probably one of my favorite worlds and the favorite world of a lot of people. One, for these incredible chill vibes, the cool color palette, the soothing, quite frankly, music, despite the sharks swimming in the background. And many runners' favorite mechanic, although maybe one of the most difficult to master, the multi-jump. You'll have noticed already Toronite has been collecting these golden orbs, which allow Poe to make multiple jumps while in mid-air. So, the beautiful thing about the sub-base, World 5, right, is that multi-jump is a versatile enough mechanic that it's the only one that you really need, right, in order to create something that is absolutely fabulous, right, for World 5. So you'll notice a couple of different untraditional sequence breaks here, where some parts of the level can get skipped. The first level in World 5 is a great example. You notice Tornate jump along the left wall. There's about 80% of the level left on the right-hand side, right? But if you can use those multi-jumps to launch yourself into some creative and sometimes unintended places, you can get a lot further than you would possibly think.
Yeah, some of these shortcuts are really, really tricky, but incredibly satisfying if you're able to execute them. Including this one that we got right here. This is going to be attempting the world record route, and presto. No problem. First try right there. But you're kind of now starting to see a little bit of what this whole mechanic is all about. It's not like other worlds where you introduce a two new mechanic. The multi-jump already, it's a versatile enough of a mechanic that that it only needs to be introduced by itself, and it already gives you a lot to work with. But yeah, if there's anything our wonderful hosts would like to say, now's a pretty good time before we get into boss 5.
Oh man, well, I'd like to remind everybody what we're here for today, because I know I've been hyping up the donuts a lot, because, you know, that's my job as the host. But I just want to say that we're supporting Little Warriors, and Little Warriors has a variety of things that they do, but one of them they do have is the Be Brave Ranch by Les Lebons and his family. Is a specialized, intensive, trauma-informed, evidence-based treatment center focused on helping children, teens, and families who have been impacted by child sexual abuse trauma. The Be Brave Ranch program offers a 1-year combined on-site and outpatient program designed with significant input from many leading academic and clinical experts who specialize in child sexual abuse and trauma. So every little bit, that donation that comes in goes to kind of help support these programs that Little Warrior does, and it's just so important. And so we watch this absolutely insane game that I can't keep track of. Get your donations in to help a really good cause.
Absolutely.
It really does move a mile a minute. We are already most of the way through World 5 of 6. Toro.
Yeah, no, this run has been going pretty darn well for the most part. Really happy that Boss 3 went pretty well, because I know many marathon runs, even from top level runners, struggle at that boss. But so far it's been going swimmingly. This next boss that we're about to encounter,
Swimmingly?
But
He's a genius.
the next boss is kind of an interesting one. It has a slightly different way of progression in terms of how to beat it. Instead of levers, we basically have to now collect these little green boxes, and there are many different routes you can take. I'm taking this one, where you go basically top left and then clockwise, and that is the route most runners at my level take. And it's really just the struggle really comes with getting that first one, which I got no problem. And if we can get a 5 for 5 on good bosses in this run, and we do.
Beautiful. The mantra of touch green thing, kill pink thing remains. Of course, we will be seeing many pink things in this, our final world, the station. That's right. Ghosts in space. The final mechanic introduced in our World 6 are disappearing platforms and reappearing platforms. You'll notice that Toro has been collecting a couple of blue orbs, and what that's been doing is making blue platforms appear or disappear. There's another element to this. You'll now notice orange platforms are introduced. Can you guess what we're going to do with those? We touch orange orb, they disappear. We touch orange orb, they reappear again. Now, these can be under your control, and in some cases, we can manipulate which of these we take and which of these we skip. You'll notice Toro has skipped an orange orb in order to leave an orange platform in place. There is a soul near the top of this level. You will need to remove those orange platforms in order to acquire souls. I've mentioned a couple times, you've seen these blue flames hanging out in the corner of the level. Those are used to unlock bonus levels called races. When we saw at the very beginning of this, We said no races for this because the any percent run is simply the minimum number of levels it takes to get to the credits in the base game, which you don't have to do a speedrun mode for. You can simply take these levels one at a time. Toro is just that good, and so is so much of our community that's dedicated itself to this game. There are a number of different ways you can play this out. If you want to race for just 20 levels, if you want to collect all the souls across all 6 worlds or just one, there are so many different ways. Even just, grinding individual levels. There are incredible ways that this game manages to keep track of these things, including leaderboards for each individual level for you, for your Steam friends, anything else. Speaking of friends, Talia, do you have anything more for us?
I do indeed. I have a $21 donation from Comrade Dog. $1 for each level I'm hiding in. See if you can spot me. I'm about as excited as those cats to see the dramatic end of this run. Go Toro and go Little Warriors.
Comrade Dog. Oh, God. I was told there'd be something in. I figured I should talk to it. Comrade Dog is just absolutely lovable, chat. If you see Comrade Dog, don't forget to say hi to Comrade Dog. Comrade Dog is our friend. Comrade Dog is our one friendly face up here in space. And yet again, just another wonderful little addition to the aesthetics that bring this game together. You've noticed we've brought our multi-jumps back into the game here. We've seen a couple of them come together. All of our mechanics are really coming together here. That was level 615. The multi-jumps there actually inspire an incredible sequence break. I may be misremembering. I believe Tonyob was the runner that discovered a skip there that brings the time for that level down from 12 seconds to 5. If you want to see how Tonyob does that, you can see a number of different examples through the leaderboards in-game, through that world record board. It is just absolutely incredible to see how runners have managed to break this game front, back, and sideways in so many little ways that the developers have just been so supportive of and have cheered us on along the way to see what we've been able to do with this game. And we are nearing the end of our run. These jumps are starting to get longer. They are starting to get more perilous. Every single multi-jump you can attain is getting all the more important, but we have one last little reprieve here as we climb through the tower.
You say reprieve, but Mike, there is a lot of needle threading on this one.
Well, see, it looks calm, though. There's nothing moving at you. It's just a nice little breeze. What could possibly be bad about just enjoying the breeze for a little bit, Toro? Speaking of breeze, this killed world record a year ago. That level killed world record 6 times. This game has progressed so quickly. Again, wind and bullets, the combination of both can be really, really difficult. Toro Knight is doing an absolutely fabulous job here. Our third boss is special because if you die, there are actually checkpoints in here. As you can see, there are 3 phases. To each of the 3 phases, we have our final maze chase here with our chaser dog, our little battling of sorts. We've moved from phase 1 to phase 2. Toro has done an excellent job moving through this. Recall boss 3, the one we were all really scared of, where pink balls were being shot from the boss, where we had our giant pink lasers coming from the boss. Now we introduce elements of the race. You see that pink slime. We talked about races earlier, our bonus levels if you collect a certain number of souls in each world. That pink slime will chase you and make sure that you are moving at all times. We're about to see something really cool here. Watch the slide. Yeah! So the one jump mechanic I did not mention is wall sliding. If you continue to hold jump as you are sliding along a wall, you will continue to slide. And that is one more thing you need to learn how to modulate perfectly. Once again, there was a slide on the right-hand side of that maze that was really, really difficult for a lot of runners at first, and can still be difficult for new runners, but Toro has once again demonstrated excellence. Once again, we're bringing every mechanic back. We've got our orange platform, we've got our blue platform that's disappeared. We're jumping back in for our third maze. Time will be when Poe exits this computer. Our final chase. Touchscreen thing. Kill pink thing.
And time.
Time.
Oh my god. By the way, not to kind of detract everything, but that was a gold split on the final boss, believe it or not. That was a gold split on the final boss. Oh my goodness. 26, I think that was the 26, right?
RTA 2650 it looks like here.
Well, that's kind of what I have here. Wow, what a run. That 24 in-game time is, for a marathon run, unbelievable. It is an incredible time and very, very happy. That final boss is, I cannot stress how hard that final boss is. The fact that there are checkpoints at every single phase. So far, this is my 4th marathon run. I am 4 for 4 on perfect deathless final bosses, so I'm pretty happy with that. This is not the end of this run, however, because as I remember, Talia, we did have a what did you call it? Breaking your brain 20 levels that we got coming up?
Yes, we met that incentive right at the beginning of the marathon because we're absolutely hype.
Absolutely.
I'm ready for you to destroy my brain.
Oh.
Kaizo absolutely breaks my brain.
So, Apocalypse levels, very briefly, as Talia had explained throughout the entire start of the marathon, they're basically 20 Kaizo-style levels that are harder than any levels collectively in the entire any percent run. And we are going to do back to the speedrun mode. You can see there are actually Apocalypse worlds for every single world in the entire game, but trust me, we only need the one to kind of showcase the monstrosity that is this level. So, I will count down again, and you're already kind of starting to see the music being a little bit more sinister, a little bit more like more heavy, and the aesthetic being completely different. But mind you, this is the Kaizo style, Kaizo-esque type of levels for the tutorial world. So, so buckle up, everybody. Time is going to, I'm gonna start the timer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So, as Toro has mentioned, each of these worlds is inspired by the 6 base worlds. This one is the caves. How did the caves get like this? There is a cutscene at the end of the game if you finish the 6th boss outside of speedrun mode that explains how it got to be this way. In every single world, you can still see little echoes of what used to be. What used to be was already challenging. What used to be already tested your wits. This will test your will. The absolute sheer amount of will you need to drill yourselves through these levels to grind to the point where Toro can go 4 levels deathless. And the will it takes to hear Poe scream at every single death. Because now, not only do we have harder music, we also have a much more desperate Poe. You can see more determination on Poe's face. You can hear more effort in every jump, in every landing. You can hear the desperation in each scream of death. Yes, this is what Apocalypse truly is. Now again, we've only introduced pools, rocks, and bullets. These bullets have a tendency to bounce a little bit more. These bullets have a tendency to be a little bit faster. They have a tendency to be crowded closer together, to leave less room for error. Each of the 6 Apocalypse worlds reintroduces their base game mechanic, however, to a much more difficult extreme. Once again, I would strongly encourage anybody who has picked up a copy of the game or is able to look at speedruns on speedruns.com. Take a look at some of the ways that these worlds throw people for a loop, especially in Apocalypse. It is just something absolutely obscene to behold. The developers really said, yeah, we're gonna just make this impossible. And the speedrun community said, bet. Now, Toro, I know you've been running Apocalypse for, what, a couple of months now?
Yeah, roughly. And there is something strangely fun about running Apocalypse levels, just the challenge of it. And much like in any percent, once you start to get into a nice groove of it, it really lends itself to having really fast times. So much so that I believe I am right now second on that leaderboard for Apocalypse World 1 on SRC.
Fact checking. No, but in all seriousness, the flow state that you can get into once the muscle memory builds, once you know the levels front and back, once you've done a number of worlds, in the base game already is very satisfying. But when it stops being satisfying, when you say you need a little bit more, the flow state that you can get into, even in Apocalypse, is just incredibly satisfying to get into, to watch, to feel. Again, just seeing some of these. Level 119 was very similar to this before, but this kind of echoes it in a number of ways. There was one level where we fell down, and in this version of the level, we climb up while also dodging bullets that we didn't have to dodge before. Here we go again, bullet hell. Absolute madness.
Okay, time is about to come up, and boom, time. There we go. Oh, that's a PB. That's the Apocalypse World 1 PB.
Whoa.
That is second place on the boards, Tora Knight. Congratulations. That's huge.
Wow. Wow, 320. That is I believe...
By 10 seconds.
Yeah, by 10 seconds. My goodness. I was not expecting an Apocalypse World 1 PB.
Would love to see a marathon PB, though. Can we get another couple of dollars to Little Warriors for a marathon PB, chat?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Listen, I took 8 deaths, so how about an $8 donation train for each death that I took in this entire run? I think like almost all of them took place over 2 levels, so I think I made them look a little bit easier than they look, but trust me, they are extremely difficult. But
I remember watching your first couple of runs, Toro, and I've tried to run these myself. It is absolutely astounding to watch anybody, especially getting to watch your progression, getting to watch the progression of runners. I may not have mentioned, actually, I'm a moderator for this game on speedrun.com. I do go through and I watch these. I work an individual level leaderboard, Google spreadsheet, so that people can compare rank, etc., across all 378 variants of levels that you can play in this game. And I do get to see just about everybody come through and to see some of these strategies, and I get to watch people progress, and it's just absolutely wonderful to see people just pour themselves into this game and have a whole lot of fun while they're at it.
But yeah. Thank you so much, everybody who tuned in, who donated to get this showcase being shown off here at Prevent-A-Thon. I love being here at this marathon. This is my 3rd go around on here, and I know we came into this a little bit behind schedule, so I'm just gonna quickly fly through my my thing. Anyone that wants to follow me, I not only grind this game, I also grind a bunch of Pokemon games, like Pokemon Trading Card Game for the Game Boy Color, Pokemon Omega Ruby for one of the 3DS ones that I actually just got a PB back on Monday, a bunch of Spyro games, the original PlayStation 1 and the Reignited trilogy, and a bunch of Game Boy Color and PlayStation 1 games. I do a little bit of everything, so if you like some of that, feel free to drop me a follow, but this will not be my last time here at Prevent-A-Thon. I will be on the host mic tomorrow for the opening block of games, and then I will be running, be a part of the mystery race taking place later on tomorrow. That's right, because last time out was not enough to scar me to say enough to where I would say no to doing this again. So yeah, Alara approached me again and be like, hey, do you want to be on the race again? I'm like, cool, fine, I will be. So it will be a lot of fun. So that's it for me. Any final words from you, Tara?
Yeah, I'm TheTaraStark. I don't stream particularly often, but follow on Twitch if you will. Shoutouts to Toro for incredibly fabulous run. Shoutouts to the devs at Ghostland Yard. Thank you, Pierre, for the interview. Thank you, Prevent-A-Thon, for having us. I'm so glad we get to do this in support of Little Warriors. I'm so glad to see this game, this community, the speedrunning community at large coming together for things like this. So shoutouts to all of you. Thank you ever so much.
Oh, thank you guys so much, Toro and Tara. That was amazing. And Ghostland Yard, my brain is mush. It's gone. It's gone, chat. It's left the building. Before I leave the building, I've got one more donation from Ghostland Yard to read from you guys. It's a $5 donation from Mazer that just says, "To boldly Poe where no ghost has gone before."